Do I like living in California? Hello and welcome. Welcome to Input English. This episode talks about California. What's it like to live here? Is it good or is it not so good? California, as you probably know, is on the west coast of the United States. It's a very large state and it's very long from north to south. The entire west coast of California is the Pacific Ocean. That Pacific coast on the west side of California is 840 miles long. That's more than 1,300 kilometers long, north to south. You can look at California based on its sheer size. You could discuss its population. You could look at it with respect to its economic power. In all three of those measures, it's very big. It's a newer state in the United States compared to those that came from the original 13 colonies on the eastern side of the United States. Compared to other countries, the United States has a relatively shorter history, and California is among the newer states compared to those on the East Coast. California has many cities. As we look at the way the cities are set up in California, it's useful to think not just of cities, but also metropolitan areas. There are areas, not just in California, but there are areas in California where you have a city, but then you have other surrounding communities that have become included into an overall metropolitan area. There are three. One, the LA Basin. It's a very large metropolitan area with many cities inside that. It's the largest metropolitan area. It's physically large. It is very populous with more than 12 million people. The next metropolitan area that we have in California by size, the next smaller one, is the San Francisco Bay Area. Many cities in San Francisco. San Francisco is not the most populous of the cities in the Bay Area. So the San Francisco Bay Area has more than 7 million people. And then the third metropolitan area to talk about is the San Diego area. Again, it is San Diego and the surrounding communities, more than 3 million people. So those are the three big population centers in California. Beyond those three, there are a lot of major cities. They can be medium to large cities. There is a string of cities up through the Central Valley. That would include Bakersfield, Fresno, Modesto, Stockton, Sacramento, and they go right up the Central Valley as I named them. And they are all in the 300,000 to 500,000 people. They're pretty big cities. The last one I mentioned is Sacramento, and that's the state capital, not a particularly large city, but it is very important because it is the capital. It has the state government. So I've had the privilege of living in the LA basin and also in the Bay Area. Both of these areas are quite attractive to live. Both of these areas have nice advantages to offer people who live here. There's a lot to do. There are lots of things to do all the time. There are a lot of services. There are a lot of interesting places to visit. There are fabulous restaurants. So all of the metropolitan areas have a lot to offer to people who want to live there. They all have the same problem: traffic and cost. Living in a metropolitan area in California, you have to put up with traffic that can be horrible, and the cost of living is a problem. So you balance it in your mind. You have a very active, vibrant city with a lot to offer, and then on the other hand, you've got the expense and the traffic. One of California's strengths is cultural diversity. California has people from all over the world living here, and their behavior frequently showcases their culture from their original country. Restaurants, stores, cultural activities, these are showcased in California every day. And this is very different than many places in the United States. If you want to go to a restaurant with Thai food, you might find that in cities all over the United States. But if you wanted to go to a restaurant with East African cuisine or Ethiopian cuisine, you're going to find that in the Bay Area. In the area of education, California has a lot to offer. The public education in the schools is by the counties or the cities, the counties mostly. There are certainly private secondary schools, but public education is controlled by counties. At the level of college, you have two public state university systems. One, the University of California system, and the other, California State University system. They're parallel. Each of those systems has multiple campuses. The University of California has Berkeley, UCLA, University of California, San Diego, University of California, Santa Barbara, to mention a few. There are many campuses in the UC system, University of California system. If you say University of California, you're talking about Berkeley. Another way to refer to Berkeley is Cal, C-A-L. That's Berkeley. And Berkeley is a small college town right above Oakland. So if you're in the Bay Area and you cross the bay into Oakland and go a little north, you're in Berkeley. Berkeley is very much a college town. And so if you say Berkeley, you're talking about either the city or the University of California at Berkeley. We use a lot of linguistic shorthand. All cultures do. And so if you say, yeah, when I was at Berkeley, you're saying when I was affiliated with the University of California, Berkeley. Or you might say, I was in the band at Cal. That means you were in the marching band at the University of California, Berkeley. The California State University system has multiple campuses, And these are fine universities. There are many other universities that are not in those two systems. Here in the San Jose area, we have San Jose State University. We have Santa Clara University. We also have a lot of community colleges. In the US, they used to be called junior colleges. When I was young, when I was of college age, junior colleges were explained to me as a more affordable, perhaps easier way to approach a college education. I'm not sure that generalization is always true, and I'm not trying to repeat it as true. It's just what I was taught. They were called junior colleges, now community colleges. And there are many community colleges. And these are fine ways for people to approach a college education. So to summarize, education in California is very rich, and it is literally how I got here. I came here for postgraduate education at UCLA, and I can't really say I never left because literally I did leave, but it was because of that experience I came back. What about the climate and the different types of ecology in California? Well, given its huge size and given the presence of a couple of mountain ranges, you would expect great diversity of the environment. Down south and in the Central Valley of California, desert. In the coastal region, because of the onshore breeze and the moisture coming from the Pacific, you have a lot more vegetation. It is by no means a desert. So a very moist coastal region. The Sierra Nevada mountain range is on the eastern side of California. And of course, in Spanish, Sierra Nevada, Sierra means mountain range. It also means saw, the sawtooth of the range, but means mountain range. And Nevada means snow-covered. So that is a different environment up in the mountains. There's a lot of moisture in the form of snow. Each year there's a snowpack that gradually melts, and the moisture, the water from that snowpack goes into the rivers and then goes into the water systems. And the Sierra Nevada is a major source of water for the population centers in California. It's very important. It's also very important for recreation. In the summer, there's hiking and sightseeing. It's simply beautiful. And then in the winter, of course, you've got the alpine sports, snow skiing, snowboarding, the like. As you go to the northern part of the state, the Central Valley stops. There's a city at the top of the Central Valley called Redding, and then from that point up, you see hills, mountains, forests, and the environment of California above the level of Redding is similar to the environment in Oregon. Hills, mountains, valleys, forests, rivers, and a lot of wilderness. That part of the state is wonderful for hiking, exploring, sightseeing. It's very popular. So to summarize, I came to California because of an educational opportunity. And once here, I saw what California had to offer. Yes, it's a give and take. Yes, it's expensive. And yes, you have to cope with traffic. I have a video on how to cope with traffic, believe it or not. For me, California is the best of both worlds. Best of both worlds, of course, is an expression where you have two different aspects that are in great contrast, two different ways of looking at something, and it gives you advantages in both, best of both worlds. Particularly in the Bay Area, we have the best of both worlds because it is relatively easy to get out of the Bay Area and go to places that are less populated, more scenic, more natural. When I was living in Los Angeles, I can remember being frustrated that if I wanted to get out of town, sometimes it wasn't practical. On a Saturday morning, after all the necessary chores had been done, I get in the car and I get in the freeway and it stopped and we sit for hours and you realize that the traffic is blocking your access to the opportunity to get out of town. I've not seen that problem in the Bay Area as much. So, I'm here because we have the best of both worlds. We have the richness of the metropolitan area, and we have access to the surrounding natural wonders of California. So that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I encourage people to like and subscribe. That helps us build the channel. I probably don't need to point out that this episode and all the episodes created on Input English are for the purpose of comprehensible input to help you improve your listening comprehension and your speaking ability. If you have any concerns or questions, things you'd like to bring to my attention, put them in the comment section. We will be responsive to those questions. So, come join us in another video. Bye.